Hello, 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 welcome in. It's live on Facebook. We are here.
I think Ryan forgot we were live for a second. He was like, are we going to get cued in? What's going on? It's Friday. We've made it. You know,
Live from New York. It's Saturday night.
We're getting it. I think Ryan's getting into the holiday season a little bit. We're like,
fog brain, like something's going on.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Haley with
Ryan Lipsy, and we're with Type 4 Title. I got my Type 4 shirt on.
It's a beautiful shirt. If anybody would like one, let Ryan know. I really enjoy that shirt. Waiting for mine.
No, nobody's bitter though.
But yeah, so you know we're in the freaking holiday season. We are thankful. We are in the turkey time. It's
the month and season of thankfulness. It's gonna be Thanksgiving before we know it, man. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be New Year's before we know it. I think we mention that all the time, but it is crazy. It does make, you know, our market, what we're in, seem like it just has not stopped. It's been keep going. You know, I've actually been talking to a lot of people recently, and you know, we get into the seasonality of real estate and they're like, oh, I'm gonna take my foot off the gas a little bit, got family things. But really everybody that I've talked to so far this year, like, is not taking their foot off the gas. They're like, the market is hot, we gotta keep this up. We gotta keep our sphere in contact. We gotta really be harnessing
top of mind awareness, all the things. It's like,
yeah. So it's kind of cool to hear. And so we look at each other and we're like, all right, we're ready to go. Keep it going. We've been going strong for like 2 years now, nonstop. So let's keep it up.
Couple of years,
What's another couple months? No big deal.
Well, and in the season of gratitude, we are grateful for you, our clients, for those that choose to work with us and make us your team. We're super stoked about that. And yeah, we are revving up our engines. We will take our time, you know, to honor family, spend time, sharpen the saw, work on self-care, all the things, but man, the pace does not seem to be slowing down. I know being out there trying to buy right now is a fight. It's like trench warfare.
I mean, we just heard last night, still inventory is still at a month, so we're still really tight in inventory.
The demand seems to be endless. Tons of buyers pouring into San Diego. We had a really cool event, mastermind last night, and the financial speaker talked about how insulated San Diego is financially on the job front, and how the state of California in general is a robust, I think it was the 7th or 8th biggest economy in the world. And so, and a lot of that economic surge is in San Diego County, so we're really good shape.
I think he said something like 30% of all capital, like GC funding, went into California companies this year. So, and most of them were in Southern California, in North County specifically, those tech industries.
1.7 billion venture capitalist dollars were right in Carmel Valley.
Yeah, and so that means we have the tech industries. We have a booming market here in San Diego, and it's not going anywhere, I don't think. So,
well, think about it, we have the DoD, the Department of Defense, one of the biggest employers in the nation. We have all this tech that's coming to San Diego, even from the Bay Area. We've got tourism, we've got hospitality industry. We are well bolstered in terms of job security here in San Diego. So it's no wonder that people are getting back to work, people are making better money, people are buying more houses. So it's just extending the tide of all those buyers all at once. Today we want to buy. It's like, okay, can we spread it out over like 5 years?
Well, that's a perfect segue into really what we're talking about today, because you want to inform your buyers and make sure your buyers are in the best position possible to avoid any kind of sticky situations for family down the road, for them potentially. So that leads us into, if I was an agent, I would really want to educate my clients into avoiding probate and avoiding that huge pit of despair that your family can go through, and the fights and going to court and all of that can be completely avoided by a trust. And we've talked about trust, so we wanted to go a little bit on probate and talk about how to avoid probate and the different things that we've seen.
Right, and the whole segment, you know, what's trending in San Diego, and we are the protagonists in this title journey that we're taking you on with us. And one of the things that we encountered this week was that a couple that had been going towards probate because it was in a trust that they had pulled it out of, and then somebody passed away while it was out of the trust, and now they're seeking a way to revert back. So was that the
yeah, so what had happened was they had already owned the property for a while.
Okay.
They had the property already in the trust. They refinanced their property in 1998, which, you know, a lot of times to get the loan, they have to refinance out of the trust because the companies won't lend to the trust, so they have to
individual borrower.
the individual borrower, but
Right.
then you can go and you get a document recorded later putting it back into your trust.
Right.
You know, apparently this situation, it didn't happen. They didn't get the document recorded back into their trust.
So it was hanging out there in one of the, you know, I think in this case it was a husband and wife in one of their names.
And both of them ended up passing. And there was they didn't handle it prior to. And so unfortunately that is subject to probate because it wasn't a trust got taken out. But, you know, there are things that we've heard, that we've learned about in this title world that can actually hopefully offset that. So
Yeah.
Ryan's favorite word of the morning.
Oh, well, before we get to the favorite word of the morning, okay, it reminds me of Pee Wee Herman whenever he said the word, ding. Sorry, I'm old. And what it was, oh my gosh, what were we going to say? Oh, when you hear trust, because I always got thrown off when I heard trust or estate planning or all these like $5 words, you know, is think of it as an instruction manual or a playbook or what to do if somebody dies.
Something happens.
Right,
Yep.
something happens. So that's what a trust is. It's provisions and a guideline or a set of instructions to what for us to do that remain on the face of the earth after this family has passed.
And I know my parents don't have their properties in trust, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, can you get this done, please? Like, just take care of it. It will take a couple days. Pay the money, get a trust, because I don't want to be dealing with my brother and my sister and all of us trying to fight over things. We already fight enough, we're family, so we don't need any more.
Yeah.
I'm like, and we know, so I like beg my parents to get properties in trust just because it really saves some heartache for future purposes. And yeah, it's a little morbid, it's a little, you know, you have to talk about what happens if you die, but it's unfortunate. We know that death is going to come for all of us at one time, and we don't know when that time is going to come. And so, just to have the playbook ready to go. I mean, when I get into my property, that's the first thing I'm going to do is get a trust going. Even though I don't have much, but it's still.
Luna, right?
Yeah, of course, the dog gets everything. Dog
After
everything.
team.
But you know, so that it is important. It's such an important and crucial document to protect some of your biggest assets.
Yes, so that's the trust, so many good reasons. It's one of those where an ounce of prevention is worth 10 pounds of cure, okay? Because the cure ain't pretty. It involves a judge. I'll leave it at that. So when this person, when they passed, it was out of trust, okay? So that means that the guidebook, the playbook was thrown out the window because when the title on the property at the time of passing was in the individual's name, so all those provisions, all the guidebook that the trust provided was off the table. So there's a mechanism called an estoppel, and you go to petition the court for an estoppel, which reverts it back into the trust. Because if we just take common sense for a minute, the court looks at it and says, okay, it was in the trust for this many years, they pulled it out to do the refinance. Their intent was to have it held in this trust. So they measure the intent. And in many cases, after the judge will go for approval, because to avoid probate, they go back into the trust, and then the trust can take over and deploy the measures of the trust to mete out the properties, all the things in the estate to follow what the trust wishes were, right? So that's called estoppel. So if you have
estoppel this probate.
Yeah, we're gonna put the estoppel on that. And
Sorry.
So there's a mechanism, a judge must find, otherwise known as a judgment. A judge must find in favor of the property reverting back into the trust. That process is known as estoppel. Hit us up, message us if you find yourself in that scenario. It's sometimes reversible, okay? So that was one case where we have a property going into probate because of that situation, or at least into the petitioning of an estoppel process. So, and we had another scenario, a lot of probates this week.
Yeah, it was a lot of probates. Yeah, we actually had one that was in probate already. So
and coming out of probate, what happened with that?
Yep, so we got out of probate, we had everything we needed. There's a couple of things that title companies need, like the letters of administration from the judge stating that, you know, this is who gets the estate and that's how it's handled and taken care of. And there's a couple other things title gets from the document of the actual court proceeding to get recorded with it, or to get the confirmation of who is the executor of the estate. So the question we got from the real estate agent, well, cool, this is done, we got the probate taken care of, we want to sell the property now, But like, how does the vesting get hold? Like, what is the vesting? I mean, it's not in the trust, but I'm now having an individual selling it. She's going to be the signer, so how is she signing off on this property? Because it all has to match the contract. As we know, everything kind of has to be, if it's on the contract, that's how it has to be signing.
Yeah.
So if we watch the whole video, here's our ninja tip. Okay, so
Get the judge's findings, which awarded this young lady the property, and with that court document, we were allowed to say she's the owner, and therefore she could sign the listing and legally sell the property.
So the way you want to put her on the contract, or how she would be holding the vesting, selling the property out, is Ryan Lipsey, executor of the estate of so and so.
Okay.
And then that's how she signs. So they are the executor of the estate of, and then whatever the person's name was.
Right.
It was the person who was passing, of what the probate is. And it clears, it's pretty straightforward on the letters of administration. It will say executive of the, it will say estate of, and then you just put your seller's name right before it. So it's your seller, whoever you have signing what the letters of administration say, who's the seller, executor of the estate of.
And that is going to be more and more common. You wonder why we've woven in the idea and the concept of probate many times in the recent videos. And the reason is like, I forget the number, but it was some egregious large number of baby boomers that are retiring every day.
Yes.
Something like 10,000.
Yeah, there is a huge number of people retiring every day.
Right, so the baby boomers are this huge population boom, everybody knows, and as they advance in age, you're going to see more of this, you know, large retirement shift right now. It's the largest transfer of wealth and property from baby boomers to the next generation in history.
Thanks, Brian, for giving us that knowledge.
Oh yeah, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Shut up. And so then what's next is many of those people are going to start failing in health and then ultimately meet their demise. So have a plan for shifting that to your offspring. The plan is simple. It's I have a trust. You go in, you answer some tough questions about do not resuscitate stuff and all the things and, you know, hard questions. But then,
stuff,
yeah, but then you've got a playbook for, because you no longer have a voice. And that's the way I look at it. It's like, man, if I would have, should have, would have, could have. Once you're gone, you're gone. You don't have a voice anymore, unless you got a Ouija board, a real effective one, right? And you can't zoom through that, so you can't really hear anymore. Your voice is left in the trust and to express your wishes for you. So that's the why we harp on it. That's the importance of it. It's going to be hugely significant in probably the next decade and beyond. So, you know, get familiar with it. You're going to be taking a lot of listings that are out of trust or having the estate of so-and-so executor, blah, blah, blah.
So get to know some estate planning attorneys. It's a great way to, you know, get those B2B relationships. Really start to find a relationship where you want to start sending your clients to. Ryan and I work with a few really great trust attorneys that can help your clients. But, you know, do your own digging, go through your friends on LinkedIn, see who you already know that's an estate planning attorney. A trust is so important, so make sure you always want to tell your clients, your buyers, hey, I know it's a little difficult, but you are purchasing one of your most important assets, your most important investments of your life. Let's take a look at spending a couple, you know, an extra $1,500 to really protect that in case something were to happen. It's very important. So let us know. We can help you with it. We can talk to your clients about the importance of it. Anything you need.
We study that stuff, and we want to be, as ever, we want to bring compelling, good educational material for you. That would be a really good place to spend your time educating yourself on how you can help your buyers and that type of stuff. So, well, so anything big? Any big concerts or anything this weekend?
No, we might, if we follow me on Instagram, we'll see. I'll leave it to that. Go ahead. No, I'm going to Vegas this weekend to see the Stones, so I'm pretty excited. That will be pretty cool.
Like, I don't mind. It's only rock and roll, but I like it, right? Okay. Well, hey, on to your weekend. Happy Friday. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week. And she's Haley. I'm Ryan from Typecore, the team. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye. Bye.